Hey guys, Infidel 1258 here. This morning we're going to talk about whether or not the rent to win model is just dead. I'm starting to think right now with these rental prices, it is. Let's look at it, and this will be a shorter video. If you're new to the channel, my name is Dwayne Cunningham. I go by Infidel 1258. Play Splinterlands a lot, and I have for years, and it's changed my life. And I'm convinced that if you spend your time and attention with this game in an intentional way, in a deliberate manner, you're going to be able to extract a lot of value for that little commitment of all while having fun. So if that sounds interesting, like and subscribe. Let's get into the video. So this is a battle I've got queued up here with my DE Cunningham account. This is currently silver 3. I want to see what we get here. If we, first of all, if we win, and I'm not so certain we're gonna win. But let's give it a shot. We'll watch the battle. I know from my last two battles this morning, I'm currently getting paid 4 to 5 DEC per win. The first one was 4. The second one with a slight win streak and with a gold monster card was 4.8 DEC. Even if you said 5 DEC per win at silver 3, and even if you assumed you were going to get 10 wins a day, which can be hard sometimes. You know, it's not an easy feat to get 10 wins in a day. You're probably going to need to fight 20 battles, and every battle is going to be 2 to 4 minutes. So 20 battles, 3 minutes each on average. That's going to be a full hour of gameplay. If you've got kids, if you've got a job, if this is just something you're doing for fun, look, 4.8 there. It's going to be hard to every single day of the week win 10 battles. It is for me. I have 3 accounts. I have kids. I have a job. I have other outside responsibilities. It's hard to win 10 games a day. And yet, what would that equate to? Look at let's just run the quick numbers. Even if you assume every single win you're going to get is 5 dark, and I just won 4.8. If we called it 5 times 10 wins a day, and this is not really fair because, first of all, it's not 5, it's 4.8, and second of all, 10 wins a day can be hard for people like me. And lastly, if you play 20 or 30 games a day, your capture rate is going to go down roughly 1% per game. So by the end of the 30th game you're going to play that day, by the 20th game you're going to play that day, it's going to be down 20%. So this dark energy crystal reward is going to be diminished just because of the capture rate being lower. But we have to just this is me trying to be as generous as possible so that we can really understand if this is going to be financially viable under the best case scenario. So if we said 5 DEC per win and we say 10 DEC a day, 10 wins a day, that's going to be 50 dark energy crystals a day, and there's 15 days in a season. So that's 750 dark energy crystals per season at silver 3. Silver 3 requires how much power? Go over here to leagues, we can see silver 3 requires 15,000 power. If you're very intentional, and you need to be really deliberate, precise, thoughtful, patient, if you're all of those things, it's conceivable that you would be able to rent around 15,000 power. And the thing is, you're not going to want more. You don't want 20, 30, 40,000 power, because then you're going to be paying more for that. And now you're not going to see those returns. It's like, this is your budget. Maximally assuming your absolute maximum possible return, it seems, from the dark energy, specifically from the DEC, is going to be the 750. So that's my budget. If I have to spend more than that, I'm taking a loss. And there are reasons why you might want to do that. Understand that this is not the 750 DEC is not the only potential reward from playing this game. There's daily loot chests. At silver 3, you're going to get 2 daily loot chests. Those are worth 50 to 60, maybe 80 cents a day per chest. on average. So that's like a buck 50 a day. Or if you want to break that down into DEC, that's roughly 100 dark energy crystals worth of value a day. So that could easily add another, even if you want to call the daily loot chests, I'm going to say that's going to add, that's probably easily going to double this. So you're up to 1500 DEC by, if you're assuming the value of your daily loot chests, and that's assuming you're going to win those daily loot chests. Maybe you're not. Maybe you aren't going to have that splinter today, or maybe you're going to be too busy to finish one of them. But if you did finish all of your your daily rewards, and if you did grind for 10 victories a day, I think you're going to get about 1500 dark energy crystals worth of value out of this game from just your rank battle rewards and your daily quests. And then you're also going to get 12 loot chests at the end of the season. And that's worth another 50 cents each, 60 cents each, sometimes 80 cents each on average. It fluctuates. But if you call it 50 cents, that's another $6. Or 50 cents each, $6, it's something like another 800 dark energy crystals. So I'm saying at silver 3, the most you could possibly make, assuming you don't, get lucky and get some gold foil legendary, which is possible, and assuming you don't, get some 70,000 dark energy crystals in one loot chest, which is possible, is probably the expectation needs to be set around this, like a 2300 dark energy crystal return for a silver 3. And that's going to require daily commitment to be in here at least an hour a day. That's going to require probably an hour of time scouring the rental markets and finding good deals. You're going to need to be very precise about those rentals because you cannot be wasting dark energy crystals on unnecessary cards. You're going to need to you almost need to budget and plan your team so that you're landing around the 15,000 power mark. Because you don't need extra power to be at silver 3, and extra power is going to be extra cost, and that's going to cut into your profits. So if this is game for you, is if you have nothing and you're starting from the ground floor and you want to maximize those returns and you want to fight at higher levels, silver or gold or diamond, this is the thought process you're going to need to take to the game in order to exactly plan what sort of revenues you can extract and then allocate those in as appropriate a manner as possible to receive the maximum possible return from that. Not just from your time and attention, but from the dollars, the value, the cryptocurrency, the dark energy crystals that you're putting into it. If you want to compete at bronze, I'm telling you, and I've told you before, you can come in here with just a $10 spell book and you're going to get some rewards, and those can be meaningful, and they will be meaningful with enough time and commitment because these things snowball. But it's 5 loot chests a day, it's 5 loot chests per season, and it's only 1 loot chest a day, and it requires no power. It only requires a spell book. Bronze 2, very reasonable. We already looked at how I found 1 Almo Cambio was enough power. A level 1 Almo Cambio, which you could rent for 3 or 4 dark energy crystals, is 1000 power. And so literally renting 1 card for 3 DEC a day can get you into bronze 2, and that's going to be 7 loot chests instead of 5. Plus again, the 1 daily loot chest. These leagues offer almost no dark energy crystal returns for your ranked battle wins. So with these leagues, you're really looking just at the cost of the daily and the season loot chests. But if you're approaching this question of, can I rent a deck to win and climb and receive great rewards? If you're looking at it in this manner that I'm showing you here this morning, where you're understanding how much would I win by battling at that level right now, and then how much are those worth, and you can use you can use in-game battle history like I just showed you, 4.8 DEC per win right now, and that's at a capture rate of 97%. Or you can use other assets like splinter cards, splintercards.com, and this gives you the data on how much the loot chest values are currently priced at. Ooh, What's that about? The loot chest values are currently 13.6 cents. Hang on a second here. End season loot chest value. That doesn't make any sense to me. What changed here? There's a price cap for the epic and legendary cards at $100 and 500 DC to avoid that they excessively affect the estimated value of chests. Okay, so they've tried to modify the data so that they're excluding some of the unlikely opportunities per chest, but I don't really see why, because those are part of the average. So can we correct for that? I think there is a way to correct for that. Well, I don't know right now, but suffice it to say that I rely on this data to understand the value of loot chests. And if this is accurate right now, and I think it is, then my numbers are even smaller. We need to be even more precise. This number evolves every single day because the value of the cards that are within the loot chests evolve every single day, because the market determines those values of those cards and they go up and down. And as they go up and down, the potential of dropping one of them becomes more or less valuable to you. So rely on this data, understand how many DC you're getting per victory at whatever threshold you're aiming at, and then allocate that value like a budget. Don't ever spend more than it. In fact, undershoot that budget. If assuming for a moment that 2300 was correct for the value of the of playing at the silver 3 level, understand that it sounds like maybe it's high, like maybe my data is incorrect, but it's, even assuming it was correct, you don't want to rent 2300 DC worth of cards. That's going to be all of your profits. You want to rent half of that and see if you can make it, right? You want to rent 500 dark energy crystals worth of cards. You want to be as frugal as you can. And I know a lot of you guys want to come into the marketplace and you don't want to spend much time in the marketplace. You just want to get your deck and you want to get grinding. You're too eager to try and get started and get going, and you want to maximize your returns by getting in there. It's like, let me at it. But the boring stuff is the stuff, the crunching numbers, the sharpening the pencil. That's where you're going to find that you extract more value for your time and attention, maximizing those returns. And so assets, tools like Splinter cards, and understanding, doing a basic math on how many rewards you're getting per win, that's going to help you a lot. I mean, look, the card values are coming down still further. They've been 16, 18 cents recently. Now they're around 9, 10. I bet these keep, and I said this in a previous video, I bet they keep falling because saturation is happening every single day. More of them is being awarded to different players for daily loot chests, and then people are liquidating them because why not? Like, I don't really care about, maybe they don't really care about Gargoyle Lion, or they don't really care about the Heatsmith. I think these cards are quite good, especially Venari Heatsmith and Pelacor Conjurer. Personally, I'll buy them for that price, and I'll buy them all the way down. But you might not have the assets that I have, and so you come in and you say, I'm going to liquidate it and then just try and see if I can maximize my profits that way. I would encourage anybody who wants to get in this game to allow these cards to build up in your account, because that is going to give you that power to climb further, farther, faster in the future, on future seasons. And that's going to be more rewards. That's the snowballing that we always talk about here, where it's like one card leads to another victory, leads to more cards, leads to more loot chests, leads to more cards, leads to more victories, and on and on. Plus, then there's price appreciation on cards like this. Even these, these are kind of the rejects. They're the lowest, the cheapest. But I'd say these are going to be good cards, and I think people in the future are going to be even this Chain Spinner, which I never see people playing. I think it's a good card with 10 armor and 3 hearts, especially in an Equalizer battle. Pelacor Conjurer, I think this is going to be a great card with flying, Magic Reflect, Divine Shield, Phase, 8 hit heart parts for a 2 mana cost monster. That's so loaded as it's like an off tank potential, right? Or a secondary tank protecting you from snipe. I think it's a great card. Heatsmith has got that Amplify and the Thorns and the Void Armor, and it's got a good amount of armor and hearts for a 3 mana cost. And the Gargoyle Lion, which I'm less excited about from a neutral perspective, because this is a neutral card, that opens options for you, right? You can play it with any sort of splinter, and maybe that fills a niche in a certain moment where you're forced to say play red. Maybe you don't even have a red splinter team at all, but then the game rules require that you must play red this time. Well, guess what happens? You've got a Gargoyle Lion. You can throw him in there, and he's got that versatility. So in my opinion, even the cheapest cards are often cards that later on we're going to say to ourselves, wow, why was it 10 cents again? You know, like now it's in the future, it's $1 each or it's $2 each or something. And if you think I'm wrong or you think I'm exaggerating, you can just look at, this is a common. So let's focus on common and let's go to rewards and let's just scroll down some of the other low cost. Let's look for another 3 cost mana card. How about this one? Highland Archer. It's a 3 cost mana neutral card. It's a neutral card, so hang on, that's not fair. Let's keep going. Let's find a 3 cost dedicated team. Okay. The Baby Unicorn, 3 mana. It's just like a support monster, really. It does some melee damage, but really minimal. It's got the swiftness and the strength and the divine shield. So it's very similar, actually. It's got like a similar number of hit points. This one has 8 at max. This one has 6, 7 at max because of the strengthen. This one does very little damage. This one does no damage, but it's got the thorns and the amplify. I would argue they're very similar. They're different, of course, but they offer a similar utility, which is meat shield and team support. This one's 10 cents per BCX, and this one, which has been around longer, is selling for 60 cents each. And, you know, I think that's very reasonable to imagine, you know, that these cards also, all of these cards will be in the 30 to 40 to 50, even $1 per BCX at some point in the future. And that's just because of how we always say these cards are deflationary in nature. The supply is always going down while this demand is always going up. Now, that's how I look at this game. That's how I understand currently the rent to win model within this game. And if it's dead or not, as far as I'm concerned, it's not. But you need to have a sharp pencil when you're doing the accounting and the budgeting on what sort of cards you're renting and maybe even what sort of cards you're buying, because there are opportunities here in front of you. Can you start adding a few cards to the deck as permanent ownership? Like, what if you bought a few of these as opposed to renting another card every season? What if you committed $1 to get a Venari Heatsmith, 14 copies of it? Now you suddenly have a level 3, which is like an interesting complement to probably a lot of fire teams, giving you some depth in your deck that's going to be permanently yours, as opposed to always leaning on the rental market. And you guys know the rental market is brutal. Like these prices just keep going up because there's so many of you trying to use this approach to win. So if you can come in, you can buy a few cards, start to build that power out to expand your permanent power source, like to actually own the cards as opposed to borrow them from somebody else who can cancel your rental, by the way. How annoying is that when you're expecting and you were counting on a certain card and you found out it was canceled yesterday by the owner? So yeah, start buying your cards as you see the opportunities. Maybe these ones are not the ones that you want. You know, I'm not saying that you need to have these ones. I want them and I'm slowly buying them, but maybe they're not the ones for you. But the rent to win model is not dead, but you need to be really careful about how you're doing it, especially as we watch the evolution of the price point on the daily loot chest calculator. Because at 13 cents, these numbers are way lower, right? It's silver. Let's quickly do it so that we're leaving you with as most accurate data as I possibly can. So at silver 3, you're going to receive, at silver 3, you're going to receive 12 daily loot chests. 10 cents a loot chest, that's only $1, that's $1.20 worth of price. That's only like 100 DEC. And then your daily loot chests, you're going to get 2 a day, times 15 is 30. And 30 at 10 cents a day is $3. So that again is like roughly $2. So you're talking $3 worth of daily and season loot chests at this new revised price. Now, if the cards spike in value, then that reward number spikes. Because whenever we talk about these loot chests are worth 10 cents, they're worth 80 cents, they're worth whatever, we're actually saying that the cards are currently cheap or expensive. I hope that's clear. And remember what I always say about price. I don't really think these are worth 10 cents. I think they're worth 60 cents, like I pointed out over here with these other cards that were low level, older reward cards at the common level. So if you've got a similar philosophy to me and you want to accumulate more assets, then play this game wisely with a reasonable and prudent budget. And I think you're going to get rewards that are going to snowball into something meaningful. But it's going to take time. It's going to take weeks and months and even years, not days. And if you're patient in that way, I know you're going to be rewarded, and you're going to just look back one day and you're going to say to yourself, wow, how did I get here? How did it accumulate so massively? That's what's happened to me. And if this sort of content is interesting to you guys, make sure you like and subscribe. We cover Splinterlands all day, every day, because it has changed my life. And I'm excited to share that with you guys. So I'll leave it there. Thanks so much for your time and attention. Have an amazing day. God bless.